9 games, I think, nearly a decade as well. 2016 was the last time, and they got the victory.
Yeah, of course, the biggest game in English football. Amazing start. And that man, Mbeumo, someone who, amazing signing. I've always liked him, the goals that he scored at Brentford. But, it's always a difficult place to go and end up conceding. But we spoke about this cross, didn't we, Tim?
Yeah.
This is unbelievable, by the way. That's world class. Because a lot of players would have took 2 touches. But to pull it in an area, right on Harry Maguire's head, and to finish in that fashion, massive for the club.
Maybe their luck's changed. Let's face it, Liverpool had enough chances to win that football match. They've had to change the goalpost because it got hit so many times. But Man United got a result, and that's all that matters. The result really matters. And I hope it's a springboard for them to really move on. But they have to back it up and have to beat Brighton.
Yeah, back-to-back wins for the first time this season. You're talking about a springboard. Just take us into the psychology of a Premier League team that's struggling and then suddenly gets 2 wins in a row.
It's Manchester United. It's one of the biggest clubs. You have to win back-to-back games, and for them not to do it for such a long period. But now they've got an opportunity to build on that as well. So the confidence what they've had from the week, forget the performance was decent enough. I think the manager's done a good job with Lamens, the goalkeeper. I think he's not asking him to play out in silly areas around his penalty area. He's saying go long, let's go over the top. He's a good kicker off both feet, long. Get the ball up into the opposition's half, win the second balls because they played without Šeško, so they didn't have a centre-back. Against Sunderland, they still played long and they played into Šeško. Be interesting to see which team he picks, but they've got good players in offensive areas. Mason Mount looks like he's playing within a rhythm now. Cunha, I really like in Mbeumo. So their strength is forward players. Their weakness is still the defence and the midfield legs. We talked about it. Bruno's obviously a fantastic player, but he's, like Jay says, with that pass, not many players can do that. You need him in the opposition's penalty area. That's where you need it, in and around there. Casemiro's still in the side, but lacks a little bit of mobility, but plenty of know-how. So hopefully they can build on it and we can start talking again on a positive frame about Manchester United.
Well, since you mentioned the defence and Harry Maguire was the match winner at Anfield, Ruben Amorim was asked about Maguire's future with the defender's current contract nearing its end.
His contract's up next summer. Would you like him to stay at the club?
We are really happy with Harry. It's not the time to talk about that again, because that gives the idea that we are thinking so far away. We are really happy with Harry. It's really important for us, but we need to focus on the next game.
And the next game is Brighton. It is a tough one for them.
Of course, it's a difficult game. They're playing well at the minute. And my mate Danny Welbeck seems to be on fire. As he's getting older, he seems to be getting better, which is obviously nice to see. And that, but listen, in the Premier League, all the games are difficult. You have to make the games easy. You have to show up in that. But it'd be interesting now to see what Man United turns up. But I mean, that's a confident centre forward.
Yeah.
Because when you go through on goal, sometimes you overthink and you don't finish how you're meant to finish. But I mean, they're a team. I've always enjoyed watching Brighton. Such a good team.
Jay, Danny's next in. If anything happens to Harry Kane, in my opinion, he's the next in line. I mean, we've got to manage now Thomas Tuchel, who's not afraid to pick. He's younger than Jordan Henderson, so why not? Well, who else is there? Who else is there at the moment? If it's not going to be Harry Kane, it won't be Ollie Watkins.
No.
Danny Welbeck's ahead of him. They're different types of players. And it won't be Rashford who wants to play on the left-hand side. I think Danny Welbeck is forcing his way. And I wouldn't be surprised if he keeps himself fit and the form what he's in, the next international break, which is a couple of weeks away, he gets a call-up.
And he's played in major tournaments. So he knows what it's about. He's got the experience in that. But it's just so nice to see that, it's almost like he's got to a stage in his life now where he understands his body more at that age. But even a second goal, calculated finish. He looks so confident in a minute. And like you said, he could easily force his way in that squad.
Yeah, he turned the game on its head against Chelsea as well. And he's a former Manchester United player, so playing against his former team, that's always a factor.
He's going to want to score, of course.
Yeah.
And not celebrate, probably not, because obviously he was there, he came through the academy.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's going to be an interesting game. Man United obviously going into the game confident, even probably more confident, because when you win the game, not only winning against Liverpool, but like I said before, winning that way, like last minute goal, it just seems a little bit more. But no, Brighton are a good team. They're a very good team.
Yeah, and they're 4 games unbeaten now. There was a little bit of consistency about them earlier on in the season. That seems to have steadied out now. Would you agree?
With Brighton?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the manager. I really spiky. You know, he's got a nasty little streak in him, which is a good compliment for me to give to him. You know, he's a winner. You know, he doesn't suffer fools. And he believes that his group of players, and he gives the group confidence that they can take on anyone. And they don't veer away from the playing style which he implements. I really like him, and they know what they are as well, Brighton. They're probably the best run club in the Premier League. They recruit fantastically, not only players but managers as well, and they sell at top money, as you've seen down the years, and normally to Chelsea.
Is the next goal for Fabian Hutzler then to qualify for Europe this season?
Yeah, I can imagine, you know, internally, you know, it's something that they would want to achieve, of course, because, like, you know, when the clubs run in that way, it's the right way to do it. So, yeah, of course, internally, yeah, but, you know, on the outside, you know, they'll probably say, you know, take each game as it comes and just keep winning football matches. You know, keep winning football matches, and with this team, I mean, you never know. And you never know with this team, because like I keep saying, you know, they're such a good team to watch. They've got good players, they've got match winners. And if that does happen, you know, it'd be fantastic for everyone involved in the club.
Right, that's Bournemouth then. They are playing Nottingham Forest under a new manager then, and Sean Dyche has discussed his vision for how he wants his Nottingham Forest side to play.
The basics have always got to be in place. You know, strong, fit and organised is a good start point. But of course I want the players to have the freedom to go and play. I've already had a meeting with them today, expressed that. I think there's some talent here for sure. So how can we find that balance? You know, the risk and rewards of going forwards to score goals and hopefully excite the crowd. But equally the base that has been such a good weapon for Forest, and certainly in a big season last season. So trying to find that balance, and that'll be the key, I think.
Wow, we talked about it so much, Tim, and then just 39 days after being appointed, Ange Postecoglou sacked 18 minutes after defeat to Chelsea. Were you shocked, surprised? Did you expect it?
Yeah, nothing surprises me in football anymore. I thought it was a very short space of time to be able to implement a completely different playing style on the group of players, like from Nuno to Ange, with a contrast in styles. But you need to win. There's no long term without short term. And you need to win a football match, and he failed to do that. So it was inevitable, unfortunately, you know, with an owner like Marinakis. You know, he makes big calls, and he's not afraid to make them. And he doesn't get influenced by anyone else. So he lives and dies by his decisions. And you'd have to say, since he's been at the football club, he's done very well, Marinakis. So can't argue with it. Now Dyche is in there now. We wish him well, and looks like he steadied the ship already. They won against Porto, who were unbeaten before last night, and to 2 penalties. So confidence will be high, and if he can get a few more wins, the players, you know, it's like Jay, they start listening to you as a manager. You know, if you keep getting beat, sometimes they go, "What's he know?" Yeah,
but Sean Dyche, I mean, he's coming with a big reputation. You know what his teams are about. You know, he spoke there about, you know, the basic principle. Of course, you want to go forward and entertain the fans like we saw last season, but at the same time having a basis. And he probably went in there and said, you know what, that's the level. Like, you can do it as players because you showed last season. You know, can we get back there? But, you know, stop conceding goals, be hard to play against. And yeah, when they've got good players, they've got good individuals that can excite the crowd. But listen, Nottingham Forest is a massive football club. But I believe now they have the right man in.
The best squad he's ever worked with. You see Burnley and Everton there. I think this group of players is probably the deepest in quality he's ever worked with, Dyche. So it'd be interesting to see how he wants to play. Embroider it a little bit and play more attractive. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the way he plays. He plays to the best of what he thinks the boys can do. But it'd be really interesting to see how he manoeuvres it.
Well, yeah, that is what we're all wondering, because we know Nottingham Forest's success, how it came last season and the way that they played. Does he revert back to that? What do you think?
Well, last season, a transition team. They were organised, hard to break down, made it difficult for teams. And then on transition, they had quality going forward. Yeah. You had a centre forward, you know, in Woods who got numbers in terms of goals. Morgan Gibb White, Alanga, Hudson-Odoi. Yeah. They had pace. And really efficient in the final third. But before any of that, you always have to have a basis, and you always have to be solid as a group. And this manager, I mean, you know, he's got all the experience you want. They'll definitely improve.
Yeah, well, Nottingham Forest then needing Sean Dyche to carry on that new manager bounce, as you mentioned, Tim, getting their victory in that first game of his in charge. But a first Premier League game coming up, and it's going to be a really tough one because Bournemouth have done so incredibly well. We saw them involved in really one of the games of the weekend last time out, 3-3 against Palace, and they are flying.
Great game of football. A manager who can adapt, he plays in different ways. Areola is a top draw manager. If I was a top team now and I'm looking for a manager, and we talked about Oliver Glasner, I would be going for this man. I think Areola is special. Yeah. I really do. I think he's got a good way about him. Players play for him. Whatever is happening on the outside, he never interferes with the focus of getting the team prepared to play the opposition. Now, a new manager going in first Premier League, you go, in years gone by, you say Bournemouth, you go, oh, what a fixture. What a great fixture. Bournemouth, away. I mean, that is such a difficult game now. Yeah. It is going to be a rude awakening for Dyche to come back to the Premier League. He knows that. We're going to see a contrast in styles. Dyche will go back to the Nuno way. That is what the boys know. And I think that's what he will adapt straight away when he at Bournemouth. Let them have the ball, suffer out of possession and try and counter-attack them and see what we can get from set pieces. Areola will go completely different. He will take the game on the front foot. They will manipulate the ball, try and get Semenyo on the ball, who's been electrifying.
He has been simply sensational. And when you talk about Bournemouth and the way he drives this team, if they want to play on the front foot, Semenyo's the player who's going to lead them.
He could play for anyone in this league. I believe he's that good. You know, Tyler Adams as well. You know, you talk about Evan Nielsen, Cliver. You know, they've got players at the top end of the pitch that can make it. Brooks. Looks sharp again. But Semenyo, I mean, he's, you know, his numbers and goals and assists, he's so dynamic and strong. But they play with an intensity. It's a small pitch. The stadium's small, but it rocks. And yeah, I think they've just got a belief there. They run more than any other team, which is, I mean, this is an amazing goal. I was actually at this game, and then he had so much to do in that, and to finish with his weaker foot, if he's got a weaker foot, look at that. What a player.
Tim?
He's just great. I mean, he's just power. I mean, we're talking about, he's 6'3".
Wow.
You know, his poise and his balance and his awareness to know when to finish. They recruit so well. We've seen 3 players there, top draw players. I mean, Tyler Adams, I mean, listen, that kid kicks his nan. You know, if she's got a ball, he's going to get it off her. You know, he's like, he doesn't care. If someone's on the opposition, I'm getting that ball off you. Yeah. And he goes and gets it. He's a tiger. I love him. And Semenyo is the icing on the cake. Yeah. And not only that, I mean, all that music he plays with his feet, he has got the longest throw, and that's back in fashion, than any player in the Premier League. He launches it in there.
Could do everything.
Yeah, it's in vogue, that long throw once again. The player we didn't mention was Adrian Truffert at left back. And also part of that reshuffled and reshaped and rebuilt back line that was gutted last season. Yeah. And they've done impressively well, has Areola, to rebuild it.
But that's what he's good at. I mean, but he knows what the club is. You know, Kirkis has to go. Howson leaves.
Yeah. Lost the keeper.
Zabani leaves the goalkeeper. Yeah. But he just gets on with it. Well, who you got next? OK, if they're not up to standard, I'll develop them to the level which we need to progress and move forward at this club. And that's what he does. They're ticking all them boxes, but it's not going unnoticed.
I was wondering, to be fair, in the summer, I'm worried for Bournemouth. And listen, we know that the manager is a top manager, top coach. But I mean, the job that he's done there, it's fantastic. And the way he's got this team playing and the belief that they've got, amazing to watch.
Yeah, I think Senesi's the only survivor there of that back line. Well, still to come.